Welcome and good evening. My name's Helen Ford and I'm the CEO of Jesuit Mission. In the spirit of reconciliation, Jesuit Mission Australia acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. It's really wonderful to be back with you again this evening for another gratitude webinar. And tonight we are going to be featuring a water project in Timor-Leste. And it's through the generosity of our Jesuit Mission family and all of you who are joining us this evening that the Jesuits in Timor-Leste have been able to transform rural communities by providing clean and safe water. The project is run by our partner, Jesuit Social Service Timor-Leste, and in the last 4 years, clean water has been piped to many remote and mountainous communities, which has directly benefited over 5,000 people. And it's with great pleasure that I introduce two of our friends from Timor-Leste who join us tonight. Father Júlio Sousa, a Jesuit, who's the Director of Jesuit Social Service Timor-Leste, and his colleague, José de Costa Pereira, who is the Program Manager Assistant of the Water Project. Welcome, Father Júlio and José.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Father Júlio Sousa. I'd like to say that I am extremely happy and pleased and even delighted to be here presenting and sharing with you our experiences and stories on JSS water project in East Timor.
Thanks, Father Júlio. I'd also like to introduce my partner in crime, Zach Martirana. Zach's our communications officer, and he was most recently in Timor a few weeks back, so we might even be blessed with a bit of his tetum. But I'll hand over to Zach to introduce and to kick off our webinar tonight. Over to you, Zach.
Thank you, Helen, and a warm welcome to Father Júlio, José, and our webinar attendees. For those of you at home, we want to hear from you, so please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen to submit your question. Before we begin, I'd like to extend my thanks to Father Júlio and José. As Helen mentioned, earlier this year, I had the pleasure of visiting the projects in Timor-Leste and received a very warm welcome and great insight into the wonderful work that these two are involved in. So Father Júlio, let's start with you. How does the water project respond to the needs of people living in rural communities in Timor-Leste?
Okay, thank you, Jack. From the beginning, JSS has implemented around 22 water facilities to rural communities in different villages where communities lack a very simple need such as water facilities. For the past 5 or 6 years ago, we were implementing 3 water projects in a year. And this year, however, since we have got an additional staff, and we tried to execute 6 water project sites in different villages. Most of the places where we have our water projects are in rural areas. So normally it is difficult to make even a simple trip to these villages, as the access to the road to those villages are extremely difficult, especially during the rainy season, like now at the moment. So, friends, most of our projects are implemented during the dry season because it is safer and faster to travel to these villages during the dry season. So, in implementing the projects, normally we encourage the communities to be the main authors in implementing their water facilities, because we want them to become the owner of the project. And therefore, they can feel that the facility belongs to them, not belongs to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Father Júlio. And Jose, so far, how many villages have now received water from JSS and Jesuit Mission? How are the people of these villages getting their water before?
Thank you, Zach, for the question. As of today, there are 14 villages that have received water facilities from JSS. In some villages, we have 3 to 5 units of water projects. It all depends on the size of the village. For example, in Hera village, we have 3 units of water project just in one village, because the village is bigger than others. So in all, JSS has already implemented about 22 water facilities in different districts. Soon, next year, we are going to different districts in Swai for water project too. So we are slowly expanding our mission to many different places. Previously, before JSS provided water facilities to beneficiaries, these villagers had no option but to go to nearby river or some water spring with their 5-liter bucket to get the water for their daily use. In some places, the villagers had to buy water, especially during the dry season, and during the rainy season, they collect water from the rainwater. It's sad because we are already in 21st century, but a good number of people are still struggling with the basic need such as water. Yeah.
Thank you, Jose. And it is very sad to hear
Yeah.
that, but wonderful that we're all involved in a project that gives these communities so much life.
Yeah.
So, Father Júlio, how does the installation of a water tank within a village transform the life of that community?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. In order to answer to these questions, I'd like to share with you a very simple story shared by one of our beneficiaries in one of the villages. So on the day of our inauguration in one of the sukus, one of the beneficiaries, a lady, a mother of probably 5 or 6 children, maybe she's in her early 40s, and she approached me and thanked me and saying, thank you very much, Father Júlio and the Jesuits. Because of your help, now my children, especially the girls, will be able to take bath before going to school. Before this project was implemented, most of the time, especially during the dry season, my children would not have sufficient time to fetch a good amount of water to take bath before going to school. So now they look fresher, healthier, and more confident before going to school. And she also said that her little boys have more time to play and study instead of looking for water. The boys actually look a lot happier because fetching water is a big burden. And now with the water in the village, life is easier and they have less responsibilities. Another example, in a place called Tokoluli and another one is Lahane, last time each student was required to bring 5 liters of water to school each day so that the school can prepare meals and the water will be used to clean the toilets. So after JSS provided the facility to them, and these students no longer bring water to school. Just imagine 5 liters of water for a child to carry to school each day is actually a very heavy for them and creates a lot of burden on them to collect before going to school. So these are clearly visible changes that can be directly observed and felt. And some changes may be very insignificant for us, but for them, for these people, these changes is really a tremendous help for them. Just a few notes. This is just one of many stories that we commonly hear from the communities, especially from women. And some of the communities, actually you can see that they already start to plant vegetables and make a small garden around their house. And there's an improvement in their health also. Especially some skin diseases caused by unclean water. So my friends, these are clear, visible changes that we can see in one or two communities where we have provided water to them.
Thanks, Father Júlio. You touched on the burden that collecting water can have on young children, and many young children who live in villages that don't have access to clean water sometimes walk several hours a day both ways with heavy containers, and often this means that they'll miss out on an education because they're tired or they don't get to school. Can you describe a little bit more about what difference or impact having clean water has for those children now that they have water easily accessible in their village? If there are any other benefits too.
Yes, actually, there are other benefits also. Just recently, when we handed over 3 units of toilets to 3 different families in a village, and actually I had a chance to have a very brief chat with the community leaders. And this was in Tokoluli. Tokoluli is one of the villages where we had our water project. So while having a chat with him, I asked that community leader, and I asked him, how is the water facility in the school helping the students? And beside many things that he shared with me, one thing that he mentioned really touched me. And this is what he said: the children in this community look a lot healthier now, and their hygiene is also improving, and students are going to school early, not late anymore as they used to. So they don't need to fetch water from the wells anymore, and probably more saving also because they don't need to buy water anymore. So just for example, let's say in Delhi, normally 1 tank of 5,000 liters of water would cost about $30. And depending on the number of the family, that amount of water will last about 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or even less. Given the context in East Timor, the family is extended family. So that means that approximately a family now can save about $30 a month. That $30 a month sounds maybe very small or insignificant to us, but still to these people in the rural communities where the income is very low, this is a huge amount for them to save every month. Yeah.
That gift of water can make such a difference to families living in the remote and rural areas of Timor. Jose, a question for you. One of the things that's fantastic about this project is how the communities are involved and how they have to take responsibility for the project. And in your role, you spend a lot of time in the field. Do you think you could explain to our webinar participants tonight how the communities collaborate with JSS in constructing the tanks? And then are they involved in the ongoing maintenance of the water facility in their community?
Thank you, Helen, for the question. The following are the responsibility of the communities on JSS water project. Based on my experience, normally the communities are very collaborative right from the beginning of our project until we hand it over to them. We can see their collaboration from their active participation in meeting, giving their opinions and time, working voluntarily and contributing as much as they can. We, JSS, encourage them to build a small tank by themselves. We only assist them on how to start construct a tank until it finishes. All the main big tanks normally are provided by JSS. In some places, some communities like to talk and give their opinion in a meeting, but when we start work, they have a lot of reason to say that, oh, they are busy or they have no time. These are some difficulties we face from some communities, but we are able to work through these difficulties and create ownership of the project. Even though we find difficulties, we still encourage them to work by visiting and talk to them directly. Each community will sign an agreement with JSS stating that from the day on which JSS hands over the facility to the community, they themselves will take care of it. Every month, a team selected by community will go from house to house to ask for their contribution. Some would pay $1 or $2 a month. The amount seems to be very little, but it is big for some rural families. And then this money is used for the electricity to maintain the pump, tanks, in case anything happens to the facility. Some people are doing great. Others need more support and encouragement. Yeah.
I understand that. Thanks, Jose.
Thanks, Jose. So just a reminder to our webinar attendees to please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen and to submit your question. We will have a Q&A part of the webinar shortly. One more question for Jose. So could you explain in more detail what are some of your responsibilities for JSS's water project?
Thanks, Zach. Normally, these are my responsibilities. First of all, communication with the community leaders, locally known as Sefi Suku. I have to approach and talk to the community leaders about JSS water project. Once it is done, I will conduct a survey with the help of local community to identify the source of water and start mapping the entire area. After survey and mapping is called community consultation. I organize a meeting with the community or beneficiaries. Normally, it involves all community members and especially women. The purpose of the community consultation is to present the JSS way of implementing the project and directly listen to them, what their desires, their dreams, how could they collaborate with us, what JSS can do, and what beneficiaries can do or cannot do. Once they confirm that they are ready to work with us, then we come up with the meeting resolution. The community has to sign this resolution as a way to strengthen our connection to trust each other more and firm their desire to collaborate with JSS. Normally, at the end of the meeting, we encourage the community to appoint among themselves a person to be the coordinator. The coordinator will be the contact person between JSS and community. After community consultation, I discuss with the coordinator to execute the project and start ordering materials for construction. I also regularly keep in touch with the coordinator and visit and monitor the places where our project is held. Finally, I also do the monitoring and evaluation. Once a week, I go to the field to visit the progress of the project. Then finally, after we handed over the project to the community, I have to write a brief report and submitted it to Father Júlio as our director. Yeah. Yeah,
You've got a big job, Jose.
yeah.
And with 18 facilities over the next 3 years, I think it is, that job will become even bigger. So good luck. Father Júlio, could you explain to us a little bit about the sanitation project? And I know it's been introduced earlier this year, and how it works in conjunction with the water project.
Okay, thank you, Helen, for bringing it up. I was intending to touch on this project as well. As you know that GSS sanitation program was started early this year, and this program was actually planned to be implemented last year. However, due to the COVID-19, we did not implement it. So we started this project this year. Since the beginning of this year, GSS has started to build 15 units of toilets in 14 different villages where GSS2 has its water projects. So we only select the communities where water project has been implemented. So in order to build the toilet facilities, we need certain skills from some local constructors or workers. So it should not be, this sanitation program should not be built by the beneficiaries, because we want to maintain certain model and the quality of the toilet given to them. Unlike the water project, water facilities, the benefits, let's say the water project will benefit the entire village or to a given community. But the sanitation program is specifically designed for selected families, because we will choose only 2 or 3 families in one community or in the village. And normally the families or the beneficiaries are chosen based on our survey, and then the community leaders also will make a recommendation to us. And also GSS will consult Jesuits who are living in that particular area or in the parish. Normally we consult with the parish priest just to confirm the identity and the difficulties facing by the selected families. So the family, normally they also will help us to construct the facility to them. So it is entirely a different project, but they are it is going hand in hand with the water facility. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Father Júlio.
Thanks, Júlio. And one more question for Jose before we move into the Q&A part of the webinar. So Jose, could you please explain the agricultural benefits people can experience with fresh water in their village?
It's a very good question, Jack. Biluli, I think, as you know, has been our great example. In Biluli, the water facility that we provided to community is so close to their land, and this community used some water to plant different vegetables, corns, and etc. So slowly we noticed that some family start to grow small scales of vegetables just for their daily consumption. This has not done a proper survey, but we can already visibly see the benefits of the water facility to local community. I just want to add more, like when we do the hand over the sanitation project in Biluli, this community asking us to also look after in agriculture, but yeah, it seems that they are very enthusiastic. They are very diligent on how to also use this water for another like agriculture benefits. Yeah.
Thank you, Jose. I'm just going to share a quick slideshow video of some photos from Jesuit Mission's recent visit to Timor-Leste. So just 1 second. Let's just.
And while you do that, Zach, I'll just say thank you very much to those people that have sent through questions. After the video, we'll be able to work through as many of those as we can with the time we have.
Okay. Please let me know, Helen, if that's not coming through.
It's working.
Over to you, Helen.
Thanks very much, Zach. It's so nice seeing all those smiling faces of those young kids, especially that young girl with the container of water, knowing that she doesn't have to walk those long distances anymore. So thank you for the work you do, Father Júlio and Jose. It's fantastic. So on to our questions. So I have a question here from someone who's been involved in small community water projects before.
Mhm.
And they say, when communities contribute the money, who holds the money? Because this person's had an experience where there's been issues sometimes. So yeah, could you explain a little bit about how that works?
Okay, I'll go first, then Jose correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, normally when we start a water project in a particular area, we make a team. We encourage from the community to make a team, and in the team, even when the water is handed over to them, the team will continue to look after the facilities. So in the team, there's a leader. He is the one who will be in charge of holding the money given by the communities. And out of 22 places that we have done, till now, I have heard only in one place the same thing that has happened that just now you mentioned. But it is easily solved through the community leaders and local leaders. Just for example, when we hand over the facility to the people, we signed a letter, a statement saying that this particular area or this particular place where the tank is now belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to a person anymore. And these three documents, one will be kept in the safest sukus place, the community leaders. One will be given to the police, and one is with JSS. So this is just some declaration saying that if something happens, these will be the guidelines. What are the things to be done? Yeah.
And can you hold the money for a certain number of years, or the money's just used when it's needed, can be drawn down?
I think when it is needed, they just use the money. It will not.
Okay.
They don't have the custom of putting the money in the bank. Nothing like that. Because just imagine living up in the rural, they'll not do such thing. They just collect the money and somebody will keep it. I think there's a trust between them. We just also.
Yeah. Jose, was there anything you wanted to add to that, or sounds like Father Júlio's answered the question well?
Yeah, I just want to add by giving a very concrete example, like in Tarasu, where our water project is held there. This place, the community leader is very collaborative.
Mhm.
And you know, when we have a meeting, like what Father Júlio said, we have a team. So each one of in team, each one of them, they have their own responsibility what they are going to do. So one from this team is also like we would say like financial thing. So he or she will look after this, and they themselves will decide how much they can contribute in order to like to build a tank or to buy things that we have like they have decided to buy. So yeah, I think this is yeah, very, and you know, like after this coordinator, like what I have mentioned before, will also do some rules and about how much money they can contribute after the inauguration, just for the maintenance. Yeah.
Thanks, Jose. I'd just like to acknowledge David, who is turning 80 next year, and he's come up with a suggestion that he underwrites a water project for a remote village in Timor, and ask his family and friends to support that project instead of a gift. So David, thank you so much. We'll be in touch directly with you about that. It's a wonderful way to celebrate your birthday. We did the same thing for my mum's 80th birthday this year. We supported a water facility in Timor. So thank you again. A question from Terence. Father Júlio mentioned the price of water in Dili, and he says, do you have local communities in Dili in mind, e.g. the district of Comoro when providing access to water? And do you drill wells to tap subterranean water reserves? So I think he's probably saying, how do you identify the villages where you work?
Okay. Normally, we have selected 3 main districts to work. One is in Dili, another one is in Pelaku or Ermera, and the last one will be in Liksa. So next year, as Jose said, we'll be moving to Suai. So we, for the people who are living in Dili, let's say Kumor is actually in Dili, it's in right next to our place, and we don't go to such places because the communities living in this area are totally different comparing to the living conditions of people in the rural areas. Just giving an example, let's say even in Dili, we don't have sufficient water, but there is other ways to have it, like to buy it easily, or you can get from neighbors, or many will drill it. Yeah, these are the options that they have. So the people in the villages, like in the Laku, it's up there in the mountains, the only option is go to the river. So the option of buying is not there. Even the truck driver will not dare to drive up there with this amount of water just to get $30 of what $30 money. So it might be a little difficult to go up to the mountains where the road conditions are very bad. So just to make it short, our priority is only in Dili, but in the area of Hera, and in Ermera, Relaku, and the last one is in Likasa.
And Júlio, just for the people on the webinar, what kilometre radius are they from Dili? Is it up to like 30 kilometres, both Hera and Lakeisha? How far away from Dili is it?
From Dili to Hera, it takes about 30 to 30 minutes, around that.
Okay.
And to Likasa, it takes more because it's longer, farther.
Yeah.
It will about 45 minutes. Now the road is even better. The road is even better, so it takes about maybe 30 minutes also. And Relaku is the farthest, but normally we don't go to the main place of Relaku. We'd go from Relaku, we'd go to different villages, and from Dili to that point, it will take an hour or maybe an hour 30 minutes just to reach there.
Right. Thanks for that, Julio. A question from Brian. Brian, and this might be for you, Jose. Brian's asking about the consultation with the villagers when you're agreeing work and responsibilities. And he's asking whether you have any government reps at the community consultation from sort of the water area or health staff.
Sorry, can you explain a bit about government?
Yeah, when you hold the community consultations, do you have any representatives from the government, say from the health ministry, or people that work in the area of infrastructure that would be bringing water to communities?
Yeah. Mostly in the project that we have already done, we are not deal with them, but just one new here in Kamea, we have to talk with this government institution like PTL. This is another institution from the government who takes over about the water and also ANAS. So this side of water we have to drill. So we asked for the permission from them. So they gave us some sort of form that we have to fill, and where they are agreed that we can. So this form it says that they agree, and we will do. So we are from the institution government we are working with.
Father Júlio, is there anything you'd like to add there?
Yeah, just an additional information on that the question of Brian.
Yeah.
Normally, when we mentioned about Sefisuku is actually the government's leader in local community.
Just so our webinar attendees understand, Suko, it's like a suburb, isn't it? It's like an area. Yeah.
So Suku is the small unit of political geographical division. Yep. So in that small unit, there is a community leader. So that's why it's called Sefisuku. He is basically representing the government. So putting that aside, the point that Jose mentioned recently, yes, what he said is that the last project that we are implementing now in Kamea, we needed to ask a permission from the government because it requires a very we have to drill about 90 to 100 meters the depth of the the soil. So in that case, we need permission from the government because they will tell us, they will identify that this area has water or not. Even the water is there, the volume, the amount is sufficient for the whole community or not. And this cannot be done by us because we didn't have sufficient knowledge in that particular area. So we'll have to ask the people from the government, especially an agency called IPZ.
Okay.
What the full form of that? Yeah. And lastly, for the community in the rural places, only on the day of the inauguration, we will involve the people from the government, just to let them know that we are also doing such projects. That project is supposed to be done by government. Maybe the intention is not that good, but I think it's a good lesson for everybody. Yeah.
Thanks, Júlio. Just another question around the communities and interacting with the communities from Thea. Says, Júlio, can you tell us how you communicate with each community? I'm presuming communications such as mobile phones may not always be possible.
I think the coverage of the internet and the mobile phones, I think throughout the Timor is now getting better.
Yeah.
And normally if some of our guys don't go, they will just make a call or just make a call to the Sefisuku or the person who is responsible for the project. So if we don't visit, the communication is now is getting better in the country, I think. Unless if it rains heavily.
Yeah, sure. We know that when it rains heavily in Timor, the internet access is not good. We've experienced that a lot.
Yes.
It's good for the soil and the land, but not when we're trying to communicate with you.
And most of us, we speak only one language, so
Right.
that will help a lot.
Yeah.
Unlike places, let's say in India like that, it is difficult to communicate from one state to different state. Only English that unites them. But,
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
And we have one final question from Bill. Hi, Bill. And I think you've touched on this. He says, what else in addition to fresh water can be provided by the project? But we've talked about the sanitation aspect of the project. And would Jesuit Mission and the Jesuits in Timor be involved in any additional projects? So, Júlio, I might get you to talk a tiny bit about the food security project and what we're doing with that up around the Relaco area.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a very good question. Thank you. Beside the water project that we are doing at the moment, JSS is currently involved in other two projects. That the first one, as Helen said, that is a food security program. We started this year. So we are going a little bit slow, but I think all the data, everything is completed already in the end of at the end of October. So we are hoping that everything will be done in 2023. That's one big project. And the second one is, as you know, that Father Bong and the JSS Health Project, we are going to all these different villages. We have a mobile clinic in Kasait where we give a free medical treatment to people in the rural areas. Just that the clinic where we are at the moment is located in different place. So some areas in, let's say in Ermera, we couldn't go because that area belongs to different district. We need a certain permission. So in that case, Father Bong will help us go to those villages because he has access to that area, and we will cover one district where the local clinic is. So just to answer the questions, we are not doing only water projects, but we are doing health clinic, mobile clinic, and food security. And also we are doing some ecological activities like planting trees around the areas. These are the things that we are currently at the moment doing that. Yeah.
Doing lots of great work for the people in Timor. Father Júlio and Jose, would you like to offer a word of thanks to those people that have supported all of those projects in Timor in recent years?
Okay, I'll go first, or Jose? Okay, I'll go first. Anyway, hi everybody. On behalf of our beneficiaries, especially people living in rural areas, who have benefited from our projects, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone for the support, for setting aside an extra time to listen to us, to listen to our stories and experiences in this particular mission. And we have also reached this far in this mission because of the help of you. And we definitely could not reach out to more people without all of you. So you are part of our journey, you are part of our mission, we are part of the same mission in Timor. So, and together, in a minute or in very simple manner, I would like to make, let's say, if we'd like to make a world a better place, even in very simple manner, we also contribute to the betterment of the people in the rural areas. So we have got a lot of work ahead of us, and your help and your motivation have made it that much easier to get things done, and we are hoping to move forward. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, especially to Jack and Helen for conducting this brief seminar. Thank you all.
Thanks, Father Júlio. Jose.
Thank you, Helen. For me, this is an honor and privilege for being as a panelist for the first time in this webinar. So I would like to thank you both and also those who are working hard to make this meeting happen. For everyone who attending this meeting, thank you once again. I would also thank those who have trying their best to support ZSS Water Project in many ways. So once again, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Jose. I think both Júlio and Jose know that the water project in Timor-Leste has been one of our most popular and most attractive to our family of friends here in Australia. And I think it's just that we know water should be a basic necessity of life. And I think you've demonstrated to us tonight what that gift can bring in terms of improved food security, happier, healthier, better educated children. So we are delighted to be a partner with you in this project, and we look forward to working with you over the next 3 years as you bring water to 18 additional places across Timor-Leste. So thank you so much for the work you and your team do, Father Júlio and Jose, and for the difference that you're making in the lives of those communities that you bring clean and safe water to. I'd also like to thank all of you for joining tonight. It's always lovely having friends of Jesuit Mission with us, and a real honour to be able to bring our Jesuit partners to you at home and allow you the opportunity to dialogue with them as well. And thank you for making our work possible. We can't do the work that we do in Southeast Asia and India without your generosity and, of course, your prayers. So thank you for joining with us. We're actually 2 minutes late, Zach. So 6:45 we were due to finish, and it's 6:47. And finally, I'd like to thank Zach too. Zach, we didn't get to hear any of your tetum, so I don't know if you want to say thank you in tetum to everybody as we close the evening.
Obrigado, Barak. Obrigado todos.
Okay.
Is that right, Júlio? Did he get it right?
Yes.
Oh, well done, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
thank you very much, everyone. This will probably be our last webinar for the year, so have a very safe and joyous Christmas, and we look forward to bringing you more webinars next year. Many thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.